We all want to be safe when we're on the web or when we're working with our email. But unfortunately, companies like Google and others who are into building ads that display on people's websites, like here, we see the Google ad right here. And this is on the Flight Gear website. Now, what I'm saying in this little video is nothing about Flight Gear Flight Simulator. I love their site. I love their software. They just have advertising on their website like every other good website would do. And unfortunately, here on this download page, right beside where we see the words Download Central, then we have this big green button that shows here and it says right above it, it says Ads by Google. And this is not uncommon. Let me show you another website I use a lot. I love the Notepad++ software. So if I come here to their downloads page, then here I see that this is the download page, and I see a box here with a down arrow and a big green button down here. But here right beside it with the word advertising right here, and of course people don't tend to read all the little fine print, but they see the great big green button, and they see this green button everywhere. So it's here, and we see it again back over here on the Flight Gear Simulator. If you hover over the green button here, and then notice down at the taskbar, which is down at the bottom of your browser, so you hover over the big green button, and then notice the taskbar, how that it pops up and it gives you a long list of gibberish, which breaks down to basically Google's advertisement. So if you click on that button thinking that you're going to download the software, well, you'll eventually get the software. But when you click on that button, you are going to be redirected not to where this software can be immediately downloaded, but you're going to be taken to one of Google's advertising servers. And notice it says down there at the bottom that DoubleClick is involved. We see exactly the same thing here when we go back to the Flight Simulator website. So if I hover here over the download button, then I can see that again I get the same kind of information down at the bottom. In order to give you a good zoomed in image of this, I had to take a screenshot, and then I'll try to zoom in here, but notice where I'm going to zoom right in here to this taskbar information. And here we see it says Google ads.g.doubleclick.net, and of course if you're keeping up with the web, you know that DoubleClick is one of those web tracking services where they're going to try to track everywhere that you're going so that they can sell their services and sell their advertisement to people who are willing to pay for it. So that's what you're going to get if you click on this button. And so you say, well, I won't click on the button, and maybe I'll just click here and download the free download manager. But notice when I hover in this area anywhere that all of this stays highlighted. It's just like when you hover over a link, like I hover over the word up here to store on Flight Simulator's great website up here, and it turns the background color for this link to black and gives me white font. Now, so if I come and I hover over this green button, it doesn't just highlight all of the green button, it highlights this entire region, which means I could click right here in the middle of nothing and get the same thing. I could get the results of this download, redirect over to the Google server and to DoubleClick. This is, I think, I'm going to say it, I think this is unethical. I think Google should be bigger than this. I know everybody wants to sell advertising on their websites. Flight Gear wants to make money on their websites. But Flight Gear doesn't build these advertisements. Google builds these advertisements, or they commission them to be built. And I just think this is wrong, especially in a day where we can have emails come to us, and that email could have a link embedded in the email message, and you could click on that link, and who knows? You know, today the big scare is the CryptoLocker virus. And let me show you what this is. Not a CryptoLocker email message, but this is just an email message I got from a group called Inky Deals. And let me zoom in here on this one and show you. So here I got this message, thank you and everything. It says click here to download. And if I were to click on this download button, this link here, it's not a button. If I clicked on this link, what I did for this demo is I just hovered over it and then allowed the little pop-up on the screen to come up and show me where I would go if I clicked on that link. Now again, notice down here it says that I would be going to Inky Deals. That's where I thought I would be going. But instead, I'm going to wind up going up here to this place called, what is that, mandrillapp.com, trackclick.php. Who knows where in the world they're going to take you. If you can make any sense out of this, great. But otherwise, you would not ever want to click on a link to something in an email message if you think that it's going to take you someplace that you do not intend to go. And so you have to be very, very careful when you come to websites and to your email messages and not click on links until you've studied the website closely enough to make sure that you can distinguish between the links that look like the download link, which are really just advertisements, and then the links that are actually the download. So if I come here to, on the Flight Gear Flight Simulator website, come down where it says download Flight Gear version 2.12, and then I hover here where it says mirror. Then if you can look down at the bottom of the on the taskbar of this browser, it says this would take me to the ftp.kingmont.com Flight Simulator Flight Gear. That's the download place. So it's very easy to find the links that are valid. These are the links that actually take you to the place to download the software. But see how they're very subtle, they're not prominent, and you've got to know to go and find these links that are the legitimate links to download the software, and you have to do that instead of falling for this unethical, horrible thing that companies like Google do to try to trick unsuspecting users into clicking on their advertisements. And, unfortunately, what that means is that if you don't click on the ads for Google here, it means that Flight Gear Flight Simulator is not going to make as much money as they could make because you're going to skip the Google ads. Well, it would be much better to let Flight Gear suffer a little bit here in their advertisement. Maybe they would find some better people to advertise with than Google. But don't click on things that are going to take you somewhere where you don't plan to go, you wouldn't go normally, and you might be upset with what you get whenever you get there. You might find all of a sudden that you've got new toolbars in your browser. You might find that your search engine, your default search engine for your browser has been changed. You can get all kinds of software, malware downloaded to your computer that you never wanted. We call these things foistware, F-O-I-S-T, because they're foisted upon you. Things that are brought into your computer that you had no intention of ever getting, and all in the world you did is that you clicked on a button that looked like the legitimate button to download the software. Don't fall for this unethical kind of business carried on here by Google.